I don't have too much fresh stuff. I've got one fresh thing, but it wasn't really even that fresh. And kind of like Unfrosted, not super well received. But I'll tell you what, I'm a huge fan of the original 1989 Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
And so I was 100% on board for whatever you're going to try to do with the new one, Roadhouse, on Amazon Prime with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't disappointed. Jake's been in great shape for a couple movies now.
Right.
And I have no issues whatsoever with him playing a badass character a la Patrick Swayze, who comes into town to, like, beat up the bad guys at the bar. So I did a double feature. I watched the original, because I love the original. I probably watched it a dozen times or more.
Did you say a dozen times or more?
It's like a late night viewing. You put that on, you're kind of paying attention to it. It's like a kung fu movie. So there's not too much plot. Plus, also, it's way old, so you're not watching it for Kelly Lynch anymore. You're like, yeah, that was a while ago. That's fine. Love story's over. We just need the action. Ultimately, you get these great fights between those two, and there's some good, like, bad guy stuff that's happening. The bad guy's the bad guy the whole freaking movie, and he really gets it at the end. So in the new one, Joaquim de Almeida is a bad guy in many, many of the things that he's played before. And he's a Colombian bad guy usually, and he doesn't lose his accent in this. And you're just like, oh, he's going to be the bad guy. Yeah, he's the bad guy. Okay, fine. So that's fine. But the weird thing is, in the original movie, the bad guy has to hire like a super high level, like kung fu guy, martial art specialist to come in and beat up Patrick Swayze. So, of course, they had to do the same thing in this one to beat up Jake Gyllenhaal. And they brought in Conor McGregor, who is not an actor. And he didn't act in this, unfortunately, which is one of the problems with it. But I knew that going in, so I'm like, disregard whatever he's doing. He's got like bow leg. His chest is built weird, so he already stands kind of like shoulders out and arms out. And then he's in that position for the whole movie.
Oh,
like he doesn't relax for a second. It's weird.
Well, he can't. He's a bodyguard.
But
he's tense.
I had just watched the previous one, and the guy that plays, I don't have his name, but the guy that plays the bad guy, like protector, you know, whatever, in the first one, he's like on the entire time. He doesn't have a single thread of like not just wanting to fight to the death. And they do fight to the death in the original. So.
They fight to the death?
On the shores of the ocean, and he's like,
what?
Logan! And he sends the dead guy's body back across the river.
You're forgetting one crucial element. Patrick Swayze is shirtless in it.
Oh, a lot.
So sexy.
And so is Jake Gyllenhaal. It's a lot of shirtless action in both of these Roadhouse movies.
Yeah.
So if you like the original because it's just guys fighting, you're going to get plenty of that in this one. If you like the original because it's Patrick Swayze shirtless, you get shirtless dudes fighting that are probably pretty hot in the same category. I would say probably if you had still had a Chris Farley on SNL style character, you could have totally had Jake Gyllenhaal and that guy doing a Chippendales dance-off a la Patrick Swayze.
Oh, okay.
Like that bit totally would work with this version of Jake Gyllenhaal.
I just have always loved the concept of Roadhouse where it's like, you know, this rogue roaming bouncer that just goes into these, you know, bars or roadhouse that need to be wrangled under control. And only he, with his bouncer experience, can bring it under control.
Well, it's not even him. Because he had to call in his backup bouncer, Sam Elliott.
Because it was that bad.
I gotta do this again.
Well, it was that bad, the bar, that, you know.
I mean,
no
that
one else
happens,
could do
I
it.
guess.
This is how problems were solved in the 80s. You hired a bad guy to come in and take care of your bad guys. But he was really a good guy.
Yeah.
He could sew zone things up.
Stitches.
Jeez.
All right, so I recommend both Roadhouses. I don't have much more to say about both of them other than 30 plus years later, it was ripe for a remake, and it got it, and enjoy.